So you guys can see my screen, right? Jesus.
Yes, ma, we can see it.
All right, so let's continue. Okay, so we've done the hero section. So let's see if everything is actually going to interact. So we're just going to preview. Present, sorry. Preview is going to show you shorter here. Why present is actually going to be, fuller. So while we wait for it to load, let's start doing the hero section. We've done the header inside the hero, so let's complete the hero section. So I'm thinking of adding like a drop shadow to make it look fine. But let's see what we've done so far. Let's see the interaction, everything. So I'm going to just to give it a fake color. Okay, so I'm going to set it very well. So you come here to set fit to it. So it will just be the size of my laptop and then hide this UI. I'm just going to hide this UI. So this is what it looked like. So you can see how our button interacts this, and then the logo. So we've done something so far. So now I've scrolled up. I don't want these guys to, if I scroll up, they'll follow me and scroll up. So I'm just going to go back to my design and I will come to prototype here.
Sorry,
So
ma. Ma,
yes,
you
sir.
said we can ask you questions when we
Yeah, I'm
come
not
back
done.
up.
When I'm done, I'll answer your question.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go back to settle everything with this header. Now if I scroll, it will scroll with the frame. I don't want it to scroll. I want it to be in a fixed position. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come to this prototype, click on position because I actually clicked on this particular frame, this particular section, the header itself. So I'll come here, I'll put it fixed in a place. I'll go back to the design, then I'll scroll. So I don't like how it's just plain flat together with this background. I want it to, have like a shadow, like it's on top, not just flat itself. I want it to be like on top of this frame instead of just having white and it's just flat there. So I want that header to just be on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add an effect. First, I will add a background. Then I'll come here and add effect. So once I add effect, this is how it's going to look like. So, but in this part, I'm going to reduce this logo because this place is too long, it's too much. So I'm just going to reduce this logo and then reduce it. So I'm just going to come here. So I'm going to reduce this logo. So I'm going to click on this logo, click on scale. So and then I will reduce the height. So I only reduce the height. I don't need the width, I just need the height. So I'm going to reduce to 70. I want it to be small. So once you reduce to 70 now, you can see that there's now space here and here. So I have to make the necessary adjustment. So I'm going to reduce this to 90. I think this is okay. And then I will have to come here to adjust to 80. So this is already 80, but now the issue is this part. They have gone inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this one. So I'm just going to hold the right up and the button together. I will come here. I'll click on this drop down. Now it's showing that the space between the right up itself, home about our services, the text link is actually in one frame. It's one, they are one branch, and the button is another branch. So the space between both of them, please mute. The space between both of them is 60, but in this aspect, I'm going to put it in Alt. So once I put it in Alt, I'm just going to come here and then drag it to this position here. So this is good to go. So I'm just going to do same here. So just going to do the same thing here. So automatically it has, adjust by itself because I place it in auto. So now back, let me just adjust this drop, if this shadow, this drop shadow, I don't like the way it's looking. It's just looking as if I just packed something under. So I'm just going to adjust it very well and then we can ask question. So I'm going to scroll back to this drop shadow here. I'll click this one here and then I'll play around with it. So this place is the y axis, while the left and the right is the x axis. But one side, the opposite, like this is the y and this is the x. So let me zoom out. This is the y here. So if you want to adjust for the top, you're going to add it minus y, minus to any number you want. It will automatically reflect to the top. But this is the y. The up and down is y. The left and right is x. But if you want to work on the opposite side, like this is y, and if you want to work on this place, then you have to add whatever number you want to as minus. It will now reflect to the top. But we're not working on the top, we're not working left and right, we're only working at this y axis. So I'm just going to increase this to in double 8. Going to okay, I think I'll have to leave it for, then I'll have to increase the blur to 8. So once I increase the blur to 8, I'm just going to play around with the opacity, reduce it, just make it a little bit, just play around with it, because I don't want it to have that black color. So if I'm good to go like this, you can come here to check what you've done automatically. If you have a good network, automatically it will reflect here. So I think this is actually okay. So this is okay. Now you can see that this font size and font weight or font choice that we use for this place, you can see it is okay. Let's assume you use 44. 44 will be so big, like it will be so very, very big. But this is 20, and you can tell how this is 20, and you can tell how perfect it is. Now this is for the button. I so much like this my interaction button. So I think this is good to go and this is okay. So you can ask your question and then let's continue with the hero section. Questions time.
Sorry, when after at the break time, I wanted to try the interaction myself, but it was somewhat challenging. So I don't know if you can just go over it again. The line under that interaction with line under.
Now I'm not going to recreate it from beginning, but I'll just guide you through. So this is what you do now. You want to create this line under. Like I said, this is what you do. Just bring your text here. So once you bring the text now, what I'm going to use is I'm going to select this now. So let me just type something. Now I'm going to type my name, Helen. Now once I type my name, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in component, component, yes. And but before if you want to do that line something, now you can either add it. If you don't, now let's assume say you don't want to put the line, you can just go ahead and make it a component. But if you want to add the line, you want to add that line, you can go you can the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make it auto layout. So once you make it an auto layout, there's no need of adding it a fill color. Don't bother yourself, just make it auto layout. So once you make it auto layout like this, you then make it a property. Sorry, create a component, then add variant to it. So once you add variant, this is how it's going to look like. Now, what you're going to do is you're just going to click on the second one and then make it, bolder or bigger. Then once you are done, then you will see the line. It's showing that there's line here. So you click on it. So once you click this box like this, you just scroll down. You see this stroke here? Just click on it. So when you click on this stroke, automatically it will give you this feed together. But now in this aspect, we don't want everything. We just want it to be only at this bottom. So what we are going to do, we are going to come to this place now. This place showing stroke per side. You click on it. Now it's in all. The default setting is in all. You can choose to make it at the top. You can choose to make it at the bottom. You can choose to make it at the left. You're going to choose to make it at the right. So if you want to customize it, you are free to customize it here. But in this aspect, I'm not customizing it. I only just want it at the bottom. So this is how it will look like. If you want to make it to be much bolder, like this is actually the normal Figma setting. But if you want to make it bigger or bolder, you just come here, and type number, or you just come here and use your arrow key to, play around with it. Get. So that's how to set it. So I'm just going to use 2 here, and you're good to go. So you then hold all of them together So there's no need of you coming here to change the color. Just come to selection color, click it, and then select this, and you're good to go. Do you understand?
Okay, man, I get it now. Thank you.
All right. So let's continue. So we are done with the header. I think the header is okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to design for the hero section. Now, how do I want my hero section to look like? I want my hero section to be very simple. I want it to have a bolder text, a title text, very, very bold. I also want, I want it to have a body text, welcome to Simple House, your dream, your home. It's a very catchy content, and maybe a body text too, and then we have the button that says get started or explore now, or wherever, a button that will just draw their attention to, do whatever they want to do on the side. And I want it to also have an image. How do I want it to be? Do I want the write up to be on the left hand side and then the image on the right hand side? Or do I want the image to be on the left hand side and then the write up on the right hand side? Or do I want the image, the write up, the button, everything to be at the center? How do I want it? So the choice is yours. You know what your user wants, so you will now eh, make use of it. But me, my own choice is I want the image to be, from beginning year to the ending year, and I want the right up and the button to be at the center. So what will I do? The first thing I'm going to do is I normally use rectangle to take measurement of what I want to do. So I'm just going to use my rectangle. So since you guys say you know your way around Figma, so I believe you know how to use your shape too. So just come here, use your rectangle. So I'm just going to come here to take measurement of what I want. So this also, I'm just going to come here, and lock it. So I'm just going to come here to lock it. Now, another thing that people actually make mistake is now let me just rename this. Let me rename this. This should be header. Now you can see that I have locked it. I can't click on it again. I can't. And since this place is actually in a fixed position, it will automatically show that there is an element or there's a section that is actually in a fixed position. So let's come here and see how it looks like. So automatically the rectangle is supposed to show here. Now look at it now. I think this rectangle image is actually okay, but I don't want this line to be here. So I'm just going to cover it. Now, this is one thing I love about this header I did now. So you can see that it's actually in a fixed position. So as it's scrolling, you'll be seeing this shadow to show you that it is on top. Every other thing is going to go beneath it. So now let's go back and adjust that space. I'm just going to hold my Alt to see the number of space I need to cover. So I'm just going to cover it. Now I don't want any space at all. Now this is going to stand as a measurement for me, like the size of the image I want to drop. So I'm just going to go and look for an image. So the site I'm going to use for image is going to be FreePix. So there are other this is how FreePix look like. There are other places you can look for um images. There's Unsplash, there's FreePix. So I use FreePix. I enjoy more of FreePix because it has nice stuff. So I'm just going to type house. So I'm just going to type house and see whatever result it gives me, and then I'll make my choice. So all the images I'm seeing here, so it's giving me more of AI generated images. So let's use
We are not seeing this part on the screen, man.
you cannot see my Chrome browser.
We are not seeing the picture side. It's just showing the preview of the header and the other side.
Can you see this free pics?
It's still loading.
Done.
Still loading.
Can you see it now? Can you see my screen now?
No, it's still loading.
Can you see my screen now? Guys, can you see my screen?
It's loading.
It's loading, but you're not seeing anything.
Wow.
What is in the name is that thing like
Okay. Let me refresh the let me refresh like let me turn off my Wi-Fi and turn it on. Can you now?
It's still loading.
You can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
It's showing that you guys can see it now. So can you see these free pics?
Yes.
Yes, you can see it now.
This is how free pics look like. This is how free pics look like. So you just come here and type whatever you want to type. If you want to look for icon, images, photos, whatever collection you have to use, but you can use it for free. But if you want to use the paid version, then IA is going to AI is going to generate some images for you. Okay, but I just picked one, one random house image, which is actually okay for me. So this is the one I picked. Here is it. So I've already pasted it here. While we are battering for network, I just copied and pasted it here. So this is what I'm going to use. So it's just going to be the same size for this my rectangle. So I'll just bring it inside here and then I'll arrange it. So I'm just going to hold this together and then arrange it very, very well. So once I arrange it, I'm just going to move this image. So I'm going to move the image down. So I'm just going to take it down and then this will be at the top. So I want to add like a background on the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select my blue. So once I select my blue, we just take this out and then make it darker. So I'll just bring it here first and then I will come here to reduce the opacity. So I'll just come here to reduce the opacity to be this way and then make it a bit blue darker. So this is okay and then I'll come here. I will see what I've done so far. So I'm just going to scroll up. So this is what I've done so far. So I think I'm going to add the write-up. Now this is where that font size comes in. That I don't know if it's wisdom that actually said you are going to use 44. So this is where that font size comes in. So I'm just going to type it here. So I'm not good in generating words like contents for designs. So sometimes I use more of dummy text. Sometimes I go to ChatGPT to generate content for it. So I'll be using the biggest font that I have. So I'll just click here and then you know use this big one. So but this one is not big enough for me. This is actually not big enough for me. So why I asked ChatGPT the question, we'll go and add the one that is very big. So why I'm asking ChatGPT to just generate content for me for housing, websites. So we'll just change it. So this is actually not big enough for me the way I want it. So let me show you guys what I meant. I want it to be very big, bold enough, but it's actually not bold enough the way I want. So still loading. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to generate content for me, like headline and body content for me for housing website. Why we change the font from 44 to 54? I want it to be very bold and visible enough. So let's wait for it to load. Can you guys still see my screen? My screen is blank, like my browser, but it's blank. It's loading.
Yes, you can see.
Wisdom, I didn't hear you if you want me to say something.
Actually, you could see your screen. I said we can see you.
Okay. It's asking me if I should verify that I am human. Okay, so let's go back to, let's remove this from 44. So I'm just going to scroll up. So I'm going to take this out, this touch, and then I'll use 54. Exactly. So I want it to be very big. So I want all the first letter to be cap lock. So instead of
Ma,
cleaning and typing,
sorry, what did you do now to detach it?
so this is how it's going to show. I will just come to this place, just click on it, and then type 54. I want it to be very bold. So this is how it's going to look like. So I want all the first letter to be in cap lock. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and then make it cap lock. This is it. So then I'm going to add this 54. So I'm just going to come here, add it as style. So once I add it as style, this should be like my, let's just call it biggest heading. So this is actually going to just be, so I'm going to click out. This is where it's going to be. So I'm just going to open this and then drag it here. Yeah. So I'm going to just close it. So I'll go back to ChatGPT. To ChatGPT is asking me I should verify. So I'm going to verify. So I'm going to just ask ChatGPT some questions to help me create content, title for housing websites and all. So I'm not so good in drafting content from my head. So ChatGPT is always there to help me. So I think I like this one. So I'm just going to use this one. So I'm just going to paste it here. So I'm just going to paste it here. Now, remember we added new font size. So we're just going to come to our font here to update it. So you're going to make sure that you come to this place and then you update it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to ungroup this and then click out and then drag this to the down. Then I'm going to copy the first one and then duplicate it to the top. So this is going to be 54. So this is going to be biggest head. Center, I'll just duplicate once I can take. So I'm just going to go back to here and then paste it here. So once I paste, I don't need to start adjusting. I'll just come to this place and then use the right. So this is actually looking so tiny. So I'll just 20, but it's kind of looking. Oh, I've done my style guide. I'm not going to touch it. No. While you're designing, use some things that are not necessary and some things that are necessary. I actually love this. I think I'm going to reduce to regular. Now I here. Sometimes when I'm creating fonts for my art, I don't put it auto layout. I don't do anything. Just it. So I'm just to change it to take it outside like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change it to 5 and then change this one. No, this is going to be body text. Okay, you can just change it to 5 and then just make it the same number. So I'm just going to hold this here and then add it as style. So you can just create it as style quickly, as style. But I'm just going to continue, but due to we're trying to save time, I'm just going to continue because we still have a very long way to go. But I'm just giving you tips ahead that whatever you do there, you add it here and add it as styles. Okay, so we're just going to continue. So now the next thing I'm going to do is just I'm going to look at this. Let's see how it looks like if I preview. Now 24 is actually looking like 24 is big. So I'm just going to see the next one that comes is 20. Let's see 20. I think 20 is okay, but we need to use slim, the regular. So if that 24 is actually not necessary, but you need to conclude on the one that is perfect before you add. Okay. Then now we don't want this step. Like I said, what we are designing is everything is going to be at the center. So I will just come here and then align to the center, and I'm going to hold this and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I want this guy to be at the center and also this at the center. So this is what I'm going to do this way, and I'm just going to see how it looks like. Okay, this is how it looks like, and once I scroll, okay, this is how it looks like. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give me, a very long. I'm trying to see if I can combine the two. So let's ask ChatGPT to give me a longer headline. So I just want the headline to be, very big and all. Okay. I think generating plenty for me. So a place to call home, talk about defense of memory, step into the world of luxury. I think I like this one. So I'm just going to come here to, um, paste it this way. So I'm just going to come here and paste it at the center. So I want to add my button to it. So I want to add my button to it. So do I need to add button or do I not need to add button? So now this is where user experience comes in. So let's see if there's any need of adding button. So let's go back and get our secondary button. So there's definitely you cannot add um, um, blue button just like that. So we're just going to see what kind of button will work. So I'm just going to increase this button size to
My
50.
screen is not showing. My screen is not showing.
So we're just going to add this button here to see how it looks like. So if this button is good to go, okay. But to me, I think this button, there's no need for this button here. I think there's no need of the button. These ones are okay. So I'm just going to take this button out. So I think this is okay. So I'm just going to reduce this little. Let's work with height of 600. Okay. And okay, I think 600 is small. Let's work with 620. And then the image should be 620 as well. So once we are good to go, so I'm going to hold the image and this and then make it auto layout. So if I make it auto layout, this is how automatically it will look. It will look better. So what I'm going to just do is I'm going to just, frame selection. So I'm just going to frame selection, and then I'm going to hold this one together, and then I'll make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, automatically this is how it's going to look like. So if I just come here to close this, this is how all of them will just go together. So you can come here and then rename it and add it whatever name you want to add it. Okay. So this is, we've done the hero section. Now, if you open www.simplehouse.com, this is the first thing you're going to see. This is how it's going to look like. Now, the next part we're going to do now, we're going to work on about us. How do I want my about us to look like? Now, this is where I'm going to just simply work with image here, content here, image here, just like zigzag. Image at the right, content at the left. The next one is just going to be, vice versa till I get to the footer. That's how I just want it to look very, very simple. I just want it to be a very simple design that everybody can actually create it. Now, the next part we're going to work with is going to be, remember I said anyone you are done, make sure you just put them in in auto layout. Anyone you're done, just make sure you put them in auto layout. Now, you need to put them in auto layout because remember I said we're going to do a simple interaction with only just the landing page, just only one screen. So anything we are doing, we need to put it in auto layout so that when we are doing our interaction, it will actually just move and interact. Okay. So the next part we're going to do now is going to be the about us. So how do I want my about us to look like? Remember, in your own case, you're going to be, looking at other design to craft your own. But this one, I'm just trying to create something on my head. But if you want me to get inspiration, how you want the about us to look like, I can go ahead and then look for inspiration. But we're just designing a very simple landing page, just a very simple landing page. So I'm going to do my about us to, have something like um, maybe a little write up here, maybe our goals, our value, and then those small box. That's what I'm going to do. But I can just okay, I can just leave that and just add about, or I'll just go straight to the point. So now in this aspect, I only use rectangle to take my measurements for how the image size will look like. So I'll turn on my layout grid. Jesus. Okay. Sorry about that. This is what I get when I live in an estate. Okay, so I always use rectangle to take measurements. I don't know how other people do their own, but I always use rectangle to take measurements. It's more easier and simple for me to just be on the right track. So that's what I'm just going to do. So I'm just going to make this to be 500 and then 500. So that's how I'm going to work. So I'm just going to check and see what I've done so far. So I think my image is good to go this way because it covers the screen. So if I take this one a bit up, I think this is okay. And then my text content can be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, put the normal text. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. So you can use dummy text, you can use dummy text, but in this aspect we don't want to use dummy text. We want it to look classic, we want it to just look real. You get, instead of using dummy text, so I want it to look real instead of using dummy text. So I'm just going to copy this particular first one that ChatGPT gave to me. So I'm just going to copy it and then use it as part of my, so I'm just going to come here to duplicate this one. So I'll just duplicate this here. So this is actually in white color. I'm just going to come here and then select my dark color. So this is actually giving me this reddish kind of gray. So but I'm just going to change it to blue pattern. So I'll just have to copy this here and then go back to my color. So I'm going to go back to my color to remove it from this kind of red kind of color. So I'm just going to come to my color code here, close this, open this. The black is okay. So I'll just come here to edit, click on this. Let me click on this and then push this one corner and then make it to this. I think this is okay. So I'm just going to copy the color and then come here. Now I have served two masters at the same time. I have served two masters at the same time. So I think this is good to go. I don't think I'm going to use this two. I'm just okay with 1, 2, and white. So I'm just going to come to this place, go back to my design, and then change it. Then I will change it to the gray. So I'll align it to the left. And then I'm going to use this. So I'll just push it this way and then duplicate it this way. And go back to ChatGPT to, copy this. And then come here and then paste it. So once I paste it, I'm going to make it, so I'm just going to hop. I don't need this space here. So let me zoom in. I don't need this space. So I'm just going to click here to hub and then increase this to be like title. So I'm just going to make this to be the black. Yeah. So I'm just going to add this here. So I'm going to I want to turn off the layout grid to see how the color look like. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I think this is okay. I think I like this heading. So if you choose to make it big, it's actually going to look bigger. I think 3 is actually okay. 328 is okay. This the body text file. Let's move it to 20 and see this. Which one do you prefer, guys? Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer this one that is looking slim, or you prefer this one that is looking bolder? So which one do you think is okay, and which one do you prefer?
I think
The one
leaving it
looking
Buddha is okay.
uh, uh,
The Buddha one's okay.
I was thinking the one that looks slim.
So what are you guys saying? Or should I make it, line changes so that you see? This is the bolder one. So let's move it to the thin one so that you see it's clear. So this is the thin one. So which one are you saying we should go with?
The thin one, the thin one.
Okay, so you guys are following. Okay, so I'm going to hold these two and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I don't like this space because it's much, it's 28. So I'm just going to reduce it to 20. So once I reduce it to 20, now this is where we just need to get our button. There's no need of scrolling to that far journey to get your button. Just come to assets here, click on it here. Now, which of them am I looking for? Button. Is it the interactive button or just the ordinary button? Interactive button. So I'm just going to drag it. Very simple, very classic. So this is how it's just going to look like. So once you are done, just hold these two together and make it auto layout. So return back to file. So what we are going to do here, we are going to change it to learn more, read more. So this is going to be read more. I didn't actually read it. No, it should be learn. Now, this is another thing that comes with tone and voice. Did you understand what happened here? Hello, guys. Guys.
Huh?
We do.
Now, I said I was making a suggestion. Should it be read more or learn more?
Yeah,
Remember we
it's tune and
remember,
voice and tune.
Remember we talked about voice and tone as part of style guide. So what do you think should be there? Should it be learn more or read more? Are you trying to tell your user to learn more or they should read more? So which one do you think is better?
Read more.
Which of the more? Learn or
They should learn more. They're supposed to learn more about the design for living and everything. So it's learn more, I think.
exactly. Good. So you guys are following. Now let's go and get our image. So we'll go and get our image. So we're going to go back to that site. So what kind of image do you think should be there? So I think I will have to look for I think I like this image. So I think I like this image. So I'm just going to click. Your own might not show like this. This is actually a paid account for free pics. Your own might not show like this. Your own might show a lot of padlock, yellow padlock because it's a free account. So my own is showing basically both AI2 and all. So that's why it's like this. So your own might not show like this. So even if you try to pick the one that has that padlock, you're going to see a lot of watermarks on it. So I'm just going to view this picture. I think I like this one. So let me see similar ones to that. Free piece can be very, very overwhelming. You might not even know the one you want to choose. So I think I'm going to get this one. So I'll just have to copy. So that's what I do. I copy. You can download, you can save, whatever way you want to do, you can copy any way. So just come here and then paste it inside my box. So once I paste it inside my box, this is how it's going to look like. So this is how it's going to look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold together with this and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, do you want to place it at the top or do you want to place it at the bottom or you want to place it at the center left? So the choice is yours. So I think this is actually okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, make cover up this space and cover up this space, like give it its own section, like its own box, its own
Sorry,
land.
sorry,
That's
ma. Which shortcut are you using to hold them together?
shift A. I'm holding my shift. You hold your shift here and then hold shift. You click it together and then make it auto layout.
Okay, okay.
Shift is to hold them together. You can choose to highlight them like this. Okay. So
Okay,
whenever I
ma.
do any shortcuts, just draw my attention to it. So I want to give it like its own land. You get. So what I'm going to do another auto layout. So once I do another auto layout, I'm just going to drag it this way, or you come to this place and give it the correct width of your frame size. This is how it's going to look like. Now this place is too much than this place, so I'll just come here and then make it align to the center. So once I align to the center, so once I align to the center, I've aligned it to the center, but why is it not moving? So I have to go back to check. Remember I said yesterday, auto layouts can be very tricky. So you need to be very, very careful when doing auto light. If not, it's actually going to mess you up and you might end up not knowing what is happening. So I'm going to go back here and then move it to this one at the center. And then come here also and make sure it's at the center before you will see those adjustments. Now I don't want this thing to be too close and this to be too close. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, increase this a little bit here and then make sure it's at the center. So I'm thinking of changing this background color not to be white so that, all this one is going to stand out on their own. So I'm going to click this frame and then, remove it from, like, take it in between white and gray, lighter shade of gray. So I'm just going to move it very small. I already have the color code in my head, but I just want to, play around with it myself. So I'm going to give this a peak color. So this is literally going to be a peak color of white. Now you can see, let me zoom out. Now you can see the color. So I don't just want to make it, I give it a white background like that. I just want it to, to have that nice feel color. So this is what I'm saying. But somebody looking at it from very far will just assume it's white, but this is not white in designer's eyes. So this is what we've done so far. So this is what we've done. This is it. So now your images and your write-up needs to blend together. So this is what we've done so far. So we've done the hero section. So this is, we've done the about. The next part we're going to do is going to be the about us. So, sorry, our services. So now this is where we have to go back to our component box. This is where we have to create notification, spacing, and then UI. Like this is where I will create card. Like I'm going to create card and make them interaction. This is where I'm going to work together with notification, feedback, spacing, sizing, and then UI components. And UI components. So let's go back to our component box. So I'm going to drag this. So I'm just going to move this guy one side. Now I want to create, remember I said I normally use box to take my measurement. Since I don't have a measuring tape, I use boxes as my measuring tape. So I'm going to turn my layout grid. So I'm going to turn on my layout grid, and then I'm going to put content here. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to just, generate a content for me. But in this aspect, there's no need of generating content, but we're just going to use, okay, let's ask ChatGPT to generate content for us. Okay, ChatGPT has generated 4. I think I'm okay with this. So 4 is okay. Still generated. Okay, I think they generated 5. So I'm just going to work with this. So let's go back to our design, and I'm just going to come here. So I'm just going to duplicate these guys here. So I'm just going to duplicate these guys here. So I'm just going to duplicate it here. So I'm just going to see the spacing between them. So whatever spacing I'm doing here, so I did not do any spacing here, but I'm just going to use this image to serve as spacing. So the spacing between them is 62 at the top, 62 at the down, so which is actually okay. So I'm just going, somebody is not muted. So I'm just going to come here and then say our services. So I'm trying to see what it is. So I'm just going to increase this to 36 here, and I'm going to say our services. So I don't need this spacing here. I'm just going to hold here and then auto read it. So I'm going to come here. I'm just going to go back to ChatGPT to get that shorter content, or I can just scroll and just pick one from here. Trying to see if I can get a short content. So I'm just going to paste it here. So once I paste it here, I'm just going to move it to the center. Now I want to place these images to be at the center. So I'm just going to come here and then make it here at the center. So once I make it here, I'll make sure that this one too is at the center and this is center aligned. And then I'll place it, go back here, position it and place it at the center. Now this is where I'm going to, use my rectangle to take measurement. I want to add 3 services, 1, 2, 3. Now the services is going to be in card format, but I want to make it interactive and all. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to, take the measurement here. I'll measure that the 3 of them is actually going to, enter. So you can control D, you can hold your Alt key and then duplicate it like this. So if you want it to be straight, you just put your finger at the shift. So this is what I have. So I'm just going to, tidy them up. So I'm going to come here to arrange them horizontally. So horizontal spacing. Now horizontal spacing is showing that there is no space and each box clamp each other's head and is minus 9. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm just going to use my initiative to just play around with the numbers to get the exact size. You can assume, okay, since it's 400, that you can make it 350. You can make it 350. If 350 is actually looking small, you can just, okay, let's make it 370. Just that same format. Okay, let's try 400 and see. Let's try 400. Now 400 is actually okay. So I'm just going to, sorry. So I'm just going to, 400 is actually okay because the space between them is 24. So by the time I cover all this space and adjust it, at least I will have the space between them at least close to 30. So what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. I'll just move these guys here and then hold this guy and then align it horizontal spacing. Now you can see it's even 40. Now you can see that the spacing between them is now 40 here. So this is it here. So the spacing between them is now 40, which is actually a good way I can work with it. So I think I like this size, but I can choose to make it 450. So this is okay. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to work with this rectangle. So I'm just going to bring this rectangle here. And then whatever I'm doing is going to be inside this rectangle. Now, like I said, I want to create box like a card. I want to create a card that shows the services of this simple house website. So this is what I'm going to work with. So I'm just going to first thing first is if I duplicate this, I don't think 2 is going to enter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this down. So I'm just going to drag it down. Then I'll click on it. So once I click on it, this is how it's going to look like. First thing first is I want to have small icon, title text, and then the body text. So now let's go and work with ChatGPT. So I'm just going to drop this here and I'm going to go to ChatGPT. So let's scroll down to the services that ChatGPT suggested for us. So this is going to be exclusive property listing. So I'm just going to paste it here. So once I paste it, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm going to use 24 for this. So I'm just going to use 24 for this, and then I'll have to duplicate this and then come back here. And then I'm not going to use all. So I think the first line is okay for me. So I'll just paste this like this. And then this is where I will have to use smaller text. This is where I will now have to play around with smaller text. This is okay, but this is actually looking too small. So I'm just going to use 18, which is actually perfect. So I'm just going to bring it this way. So, but now another thing is I don't like how they are together. So I don't like how they are together. This is where I will now have to click out, then go to my text, come to this, and then click on edit style. Now I don't like how they are too close, so I'm going to take this off a little. I'm just going to add 0, yeah. So once you add 0, this is how it's going to look like, and then I'll start playing around with how I want the line spacing to look like. This is how the line spacing will look like. So it's showing me that my line spacing here is 32. So if I'm okay with 32, I'm good to go. But if I'm not okay, I can just play around with it the way I want it. So I'm going to use 29. So if you make any adjustments here, now you can see that this particular one I'm working with is 18 and the line height is showing 29. You have to go back to your style guide and make the necessary adjustment. But if you don't have that time to make the necessary adjustment, you make sure that you write it down. Once you are done with this particular section, you can now go back to make the adjustment. But to me, I feel whatever adjustment you are making on your design, immediately once you are done making an adjustment, you need to go back to your style guide and make the necessary adjustments immediately so that you will not forget, so that it will not cause misunderstanding. By the time the developer is actually looking at your style guide, but what is on your design is actually a different thing. Okay. So we're going to change this color to be the gray, and we're going to use this to be our black. So we're going to use our dark black. So I'm just going to hold these two together and then make it clear. Remember, we are working inside this box because we've already used this box to take as measurement. So anything I'm doing should be inside this box. So once it crosses this box, there's no, you need to start, you start taking on that measurement, you start making adjustments. So whatever you are doing should be inside this rectangle. It should not cross, it should be inside the rectangle. So that's why I'm just moving everything to be inside. So I think I'm okay with this too. So I just want to add an icon to make it look pass the information. Now, based on UX, there are some persons that look at icon and they can tell what the icon is before even reading the wordings or the sentence on the laptop. I'm somebody like that. Before you will give me before I will see something, already the image and the icon has already passed the information before I can go ahead to read. That is the kind of user I am. There are some users that will first read before they even look at the image. Like in their head, when they look at something, their brain cannot calculate what the image is telling, but they've already, by the time they are almost two lines done reading, they will understand the image. But there are some users, once they see the image, automatically they will understand what is happening there before they can even go ahead to read. There are different kinds of users with different ways of understanding things. Not all your users are the same. So this is how it's going to look like. So I want to add something like an icon, and then this is good to go. There's no need of adding button, but if you choose to add button, you can go ahead. But to me, I don't want to add button. But let's just do the two and see which one is actually fine. So I'm just going to add more content to that. So just going to add more content to that and then try the other way and see which one works fine for me. To get an icon. So now this is where our icon is going to play its role for us. So this is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to use the lighter shade. So I just want to make it to be the same way. So I'm just going to use 100 and this is going to be 100. So I'm just going to use my lighter shade of blue here. So sorry about that. So I'm just going to add this. I'm going to use my icon. Now I already shared the icon with you guys. So I'm just going to open it and then pick one icon from the icon. So I remember I said I'm using icon, font awesome icon. Now, so I'm going to open it here. So while it's loading, let's just continue while wait for it to load. So while I'm creating the other one that doesn't have long text, but just with button. So I'm just going to duplicate this, then bring it this way. Then I'm going to reduce. So I'm going to reduce this content here. So I'm going to reduce this content and then replace it with button. So I just come to my assets and then I'm going to use this button. So since I want to make it interactive, there's no need of me doing, there's no need of me using the interactive button. So I'm just going to use the standard button itself. So I'm just going to change this to, 55. So 55 is too much. I'm going to use 50. Then I'm going to use 150 here. So I'm just going to say learn more. So this is what I'm going to use. So let's see if the font has opened. Okay, still loading. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. So I'm just going to select, see if I can scroll to see if I can get anything housing. I think this is building. So let's see the icon we are going to use. So whatever icon that you use here, this is where once you pick the icon, you just go and keep it in your style guide so that your developers or whoever that is going to view your design is going to know the kind of icon you use. So you're going to indicate the name of the icon. The icon like this, what I'm using here is font awesome icons. So I'm going to write font awesome icon and then drop all the icon that I'm going to use or that I used on the design. So I'm just going to use more of business. So I'm just going to use more of business. So, but I'm just going to use, icons. So I'm trying to, beat time. So I'm just going to replicate my icon. So I'm just trying to see if I can see any icon related to housing, building, construction. I'm just trying to see if I can get any icon to that. Let's see if we can get hotel. Okay, I'm not seeing what I want. So I'm just going to go back to that building and just use more of house icon. So I'm trying to, I can have put down to look for it, but I'm trying to, beat time. We need to finish up this landing page before the end of this class. So that's why I'm just trying to, beat time. So I'm just going to pick, I'm not going to pick church, I'm just going to pick this one. So I'm just going to pick this. So I'm just going to copy it, come back to my design, and then paste it here. So now I'm going to paste it. Now, what size am I going to use? Now, this is 24. Like I said, 24 is actually going to look small because we are designing with a larger screen. So now I'm going to work with 38. So I'm going to work with 38. But now, if I do it this way, it's actually not going to work for me. If I do it this way, it's actually not going to work for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it and then make that adjustment. If I put it like this, the icon is actually not going to reflect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, come to scale. So once I come to scale, I will just come here to type whatever icon size I want to type. Automatically, it will just become very big. So then I'll come here and then I'll change the color to my color text. And then I will hold this together and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, this is how it's going to look like. And then I'll come here to make the necessary adjustments. So once I'm done with the adjustment, this is how it's going to look like. So this is actually looking too big. So I'll come here to reduce it. So I'll come to this place to, reduce it here and reduce it here. So this is how it's going to look like. So this is how it's going to look like. So there's no need of me doing that again. I'll just delete this and, duplicate this one. So remember I said I'm trying to do the one with button and the one without button. Let's see which one is actually fine. So I'm just going to change this now to my white. So I'm just going to change this to my white and then I'm going to add drop shadow. So I'm going to play around with this and then, duplicate to this one. So let's play around with drop shadow for this. So I'm going to take this up and I'm going to use spread. So I'm going to use spread to go, round. So y is going to be 0. I just want it to go round. So I'm going to use, I want my blood to be, visible enough. I don't want it to be showing me, I don't want the black to be visible. So I'm just going to move this way and then play around with the white parts. So I'm just going to play around with the whites. And I'm going to see if I can make this blood to be 6. Let's make it 8. Okay, so let's make this spread to be 6. Let's click out and see how it turned out to be. So I think this is okay. So I'm just going to give this a corner radius of 30. Now I'm going to hold this and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, automatically I will duplicate this and bring it out to replace. We are trying to try to pattern. So this drop shadow is a little bit kind of it's good. I don't know how to explain it, but it's showing the darker part too much. So I'll just have to come here to reduce this here. So I'm going to come to this blur. So I'm going to reduce the spread. So I'm going to come here to reduce, bring this one down a bit. I think this is good to go. So I'm just going to come here and reduce this to be 20, or let's use 10. So I'm going to duplicate this here. So I'm going to hold, so I'm going to duplicate this just to replicate this other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this and this and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, I can go ahead and place it at the center. So this is how it's going to look like. So now let's replicate this one. I'm trying to create, this pattern and this pattern and see which one works for me. So I'm going to hold this and this and then make it auto layout. So I'm going to hold the whole of this and then the button and then make it auto layout. So once I've made it auto layout, I'm going to hold, as I'm doing it auto layout, remember it's going to be at the center. Then I'm going to hold the whole of the whole card and then make it auto layout. So once I made it auto layout, automatically I'm going to place it at the center. So do you think we should work with this, or do you think we should work with this? So this is how this is going to look like. So now I want it to interact when my cursor touch on it. I want it to interchange it. I want it to change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a component. So I'll make sure that everything I'm doing here is good to go before I can make it component. So once I make it component, I'm going to add variant. So once I add a variant, automatically this is what I'm going to do. So here I'm just going to place it this way. So what I'm going to do is I just want it to, change the other way, like change it. Like this is white, I want this one to be blue. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hold this background color. So before I will do that, I will have to hold this guy. So I'll click on this. Then I'll remove this other one in blue, so it will not confuse me when I'm just changing the color from this place. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll just remove this from blue. Just remove it from blue. Then you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do. So the first thing is the background. I'm going to change the background to blue. So once I change the background to blue, now this is good to go. So I'm just going to change the right top, all the right top to be white. So I'm just going to hold this, and then change it to be white. This is how it's going to look like. So I want to remove this. Let's see if we can make this white and see how it turns out to be. But I think the blue is not bad. The blue is not bad. So I'm just going to leave it blue.
Look at the director about the
We are not hearing anything and we are not seeing your screen.
So I'm trying to do an interaction. So the interaction is just the same way we did for the text and the button. That's the same thing we are doing since it's just a simple interaction. So I've done this and I've done this. So I'm trying to see which one is actually okay for that particular section. So I'm just going to make both of them simple interaction while hovering and all. So it's just the same way we did for the text and for the button. That's the same prototype we're going to do here. So this is what we've done so far. So I'm going to click here. So I'm just going to, bring this here. You need to duplicate, don't drag. So this is going to be here. And I'm going to take this out. So I'm just going to bring this here. So I'm trying to, create to see which of them work perfectly for me. Okay. So now let me turn off this and see which one is actually okay. So now let's scroll to that section and see. So which one do you think is okay? So should we use this or should we use my, this thing is not at the center. Not at the center. So I need to go back to and then place it at the center. So I'll just okay, it's at the center. So this is how it's going to look like. Do you think we should go with something is wrong somewhere? So I think this is not showing me a center. So let me go back and see. It's showing center here. So let me see the second one. It's showing center here. It's at the center. So I believe my network is actually affecting it not to reflect. So do you think we should go with this one that has the button, or you think we should go with this that has text? So which one do you think is better? Guys,
The one with text.
Wisdom said text. Any other person?
The other one with button.
Another with button. Okay, another person.
The one with button.
Okay, somebody say Mary say less. Okay. You have two. So which one do you think is okay? So to me, I think the one I'm going to work is with text because I don't want my user to click and go to another screen and go to another screen. It's going to be hard. It's going to look like too much navigation on the screen. We are forcing them to go and read. So I think I'm going to go with this one. So I'm just going to come back here and then I'm not going to delete this because somebody that might want to work with this Figma file, I will just leave it for you guys to just use it to learn. So I'm just going to delete this and then I'm going to drag this down more. So I'm just going to bring this here. So I'm just going to keep this here and then I'm going to, I've already done the first one. So this is what I'm just going to do. I'm just going to bring this and this here. So I'll just go to ChatGPT and copy and paste. So this is just going to be here. So let's do the last one and then we can just copy and then paste it. Okay, so we are good to go with this. So I'm just going to delete one and then delete this one. So I'm just going to copy this and copy this, and then I'm going to drag it in here. So once I drag it in here, so remember we already placed the settings here. So I'm just going to adjust it to 80. So I'm just going to hold this and make it auto layout. So once you make it auto layout, automatically you have that your settings. And then I'm going to hold this and then make it auto layout. So I'm going to reduce the space in here. So I'll make it 70. So there's no particular settings for it. I'm just the one giving it, the the numbers. But if you're not comfortable with the number or you think the numbers are too big, you can then adjust it to your test. So I think this space here is much. So I'm just going to reduce it to 10. So I'm just going to hold this together and then complete it to get to this point and here to this point. So I'm going to place at the center. I'm going to hold this inside here first and then going to go back. This is okay. So this is not at the center. I'll make it at the center. This at the center. This at the center. And then lastly, this at the center. So I am not adding any color. I just like this background. I want this particular one to be on this background color. So I'm not adding any color. So but I'm just going to, make it to look longer and bigger. So I might just go ahead and use 700. So I might just go ahead and use 700 and then place this at the center. So once this is at the center, I can just, cover up this space here. So this is okay for me. So the next one I'm going to design is going to be why choosers. So this is going to be why choosers. So what I'm going to do is I just want the interaction to look like when I'm scrolling, that the text should, come from this part and just show. So this is more like the same pattern, but we're not going to do anything interactive. This is just like I'm going to duplicate this particular one. I'll just bring it here. So I'm just going to bring it here. Then I will have to remove it from components. So I'll scroll and go to the touch instance. So I'm going to remove it. So I'm just going to take out this button here. So I'm just going to take out this button. Sorry. I want to take out only the button. I already like how this is actually looking. So I don't like the height is too much. So I'm just going to reduce it to 300. Okay. So I'm just going to reduce it to 300 or let's say 350. There's no particular number, remember. I'm just used to giving it numbers and all. Now, another thing is I don't want it interactive. So I'm just going to replace this with my name. So I'm just going to replace this with my name. This is actually my government name in case you've seen my name somewhere. I'm the person. So I'm just going to say maybe testimonial. Am I getting this spelling correctly? Oh, this is short one. This is too long. So I'm just going to use this short one here. So I'm just going to come back here and then I'll paste it. So this is okay. So I'm just going to take out this image Yeah, this is what I told you. I said you need to download the font first before you can use it. If not, you can't enjoy it. To showing you missing font. To be showing you missing font. So I'm just going to delete this city here. Now I'm going to replace this image here with my face. I know you guys have not seen my face. So I'm just going to replace this with my image here. Just paste, but it's too much. So I'm going to take it out. So I'm going to take the image out. So since I already have my image, let me show you another pattern too to upload image. So since I already have my image on my laptop, so I'm just going to, upload it the normal way. Now I can upload from here. I can upload from here, or I can upload from here. Any choice. So I'm just going to upload from my system. I already have my image on my system. So I'm just going to upload it. So this is actually looking so big. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the frame. So I already know the frame size is 80. So I'm just going to click on my image and then reduce the size to be 80. So once I reduce, I'm going to look for it and then drag it in. Now it's actually not don't want to stay here, but due to everything is actually in auto layout. It is in auto layout. That's why it's just expanding that way. So there's no need to worry. All you have to do is just delete this particular one and then work with this image. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to click on this image and then make it in form of circle. So I'm just going to make this to be like 120. Okay, 100. Let's make it 100, and then let's make it in circle form. So I'm just going to give it a huge corner radius for it to just be in circle. So I'm just going to remove this from here and then make the height and the width to be of the same pattern, so that to give me that circle shape. This is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to hold this and this. Okay, I already have them in auto layout, but the space is much. So I'm just going to, come like this and reduce it. You can reduce it whatever way you want. You can reduce it where how you want. So I think I'll have to work with it like this, and then I'll have to increase this like this. So I'm going to increase it. Then I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to just put my name in it. So I want to change this particular one to title. So I'm just going to put my name under. So I'm going to put my particular name here under. I'm just going to use, this one. Now, I want to use a smaller text, but I want it to be very big. What I have, all the small text I have here is this part, this one. Now, I want it to be bold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it and then use the one that is bold. I've used semi-bold now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my style guide and then I'm going to include that. So this should be like incredible experience. So I'm just going to copy this and then replace it here. So I'm just going to replace it here and I'm going to take this out here. So I just want to give it like a title, a body, and then my name. That's what I want to do. Okay, so this is okay. So I think I like how this is. So I'm just going to come here. I'm not putting them in components. I don't want to put them in components. But since it's actually a reusable card, I will have to put them in components. Since it's something I'm just have to duplicate, I will have to put it in components. Okay. So I'm going to make this in components and then I will just, come here and remember I said make sure you are changing the name. If not, it will get confused for you. So this should be like testimonial. This should be like testimonial, and you know how to rename this one. This should be like services card. So since I'm going to duplicate this, I'll just have to pick this here, drop it. Then I'll have to, duplicate these two. Then I'll make it in auto layout, and then I'll just duplicate this. Now, but another thing is I want to use different pictures, different write-ups, so that when I'm doing the interaction, you guys will see that the thing is actually moving. So I'm just going to remove it from auto layout. So I'm just going to use different random pictures for this. So I'm just going to come here and I'll use this my picture. So I'm going to use my picture and let's see ChatGPT. So let's say craft out more. So I just want to use different so that when I'm playing around with it, you can see the interaction. So let's say absolutely wonderful. So yeah, I'm just going to use let me use my throwback. So I'm just going to make it 9 so that when I'm playing around with it, you can just see it. Okay, let's make it 6 or 9. I think 6, 9. Let's make it different numbers. Let's just make it different numbers. So these are not my pictures. So I'm just going to use some of my throwback just to make it look real. Are you guys with me? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. We're with you.
Okay. So the
Yes,
reason I'm
thank you.
quiet, I just want to, quickly do all these ones. So this is one thing I love about auto layout. Now imagine I'm playing around with this and it's not actually scattering my work. It's just clean, it's just neat. That's one sweet thing about auto layout. That's how I advise people if you want to design in auto layout. Like it's stress free. You don't even need to crack your head for anything. Once you've done the first setting, you can just go ahead and just start doing the second one and everything will just blend in for you. So let me work on the last one and just know that okay. So let's pick images. So I'm just going to look for some of my images. This is actually not me, but I'm just going to use it. This is actually not me, but I'm just going to use it. Okay. So I already have 6 here. So I'm just going to arrange them vertically. Sorry. So I'm just going to bring these three here. So I'm just going to take them out. So I'm just going to take them out here. So I'm just going to make them in auto layout. So showing that some are inside, some are outside. So I'm just going to do everything outside. So I'm just going to add it auto layout to give me that arrangement the way I want it. Okay, this is okay. So I'm just going to duplicate some. So I'm going to duplicate some. I just want it to look longer. So I'm just going to duplicate some. Okay, so now I've done this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, bring a frame. I'm going to bring a frame and then place it this way. So once you just use a random frame size. So I'm just going to get this exact size. So the exact height of this is 300 and 382. So you can choose to copy it this way and then come to this frame here and then add it this way. Add it this way. So once you add it, you've gotten the exact frame size and then you can now place it inside this place. So once you've added it here, so I'm going to create my title. So I'm just going to come to this place. So I'm going to just duplicate this here. And then I will come here and say, why choose us? Why choose us? So now I'm going to add, this is where I'm going to turn on my layout grid. So I'm going to turn on my layout grid. So I'm just going to get this same space positioning here. So I'm going to get this positioning here. So once I've gotten it, so what I have here is I'm going to make sure that it has gotten to the point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off this layout grid. So I'm going to turn it off and then bring this inside here, inside the frame. So I'm going to keep it here and then click on it again and then bring it inside the frame. Now, there are two ways you can do this. Now, let's try this first method and let's try the second method. Now, let's try the first method, which is this. Now, it's inside. I don't know, it's not accepting it. So we're going to try this other method. So I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate this here and I'm going to take this here first. Let's try auto layout method. If it doesn't work, we're going to try the framing method. So I'm going to bring this here to this point. Remember our margin is 80. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this. I think I saw the size here. So the size is going to be 128. But you make sure that when you place it here, it's giving you 8 here. So you're going to make it 128. So I think I saw the number. So then you can see that here is 80. Like, sorry, this place, if I move my cursor, it's going to not show. You can see this place is 80 and here is 18. And once you place it at the center, it's going to be there. So you're going to turn on your layout grid to confirm if it is at the center. So you can see that it is actually that place. Then you can give it a fill color. Now, when you give it a fill color, then you come to your prototype. So when you come to your prototype, it will show you overflow. How do you want it to scroll? Do you want it to scroll horizontal or vertical? Now, in this aspect, I want it to scroll horizontally. So now let's go back to our prototype. So I'm going to turn off my layout grid. So I'm going to turn it off. So I'm going to turn it off just to see what I've done. So I'm going to go to my prototype and see if this method I follow actually works. So this is what we've done so far. We have this, we have the about section. We have, I think I'll have to rework on this to be the same way for this. So now this is what I'm trying to achieve. Why choose? I'm trying to see if, okay, yeah, it works. This is what I'm trying to achieve here. So that I can just, have these scrolling feelings. But now I have to take out this background color. So I don't need it. So what I'm going to do is I'll come back to, so I'll go back to the design and take out that fill color. So I'm going to click on it here and take it out. So I'm going to take it out. So since this auto layout method work, so there's no need of me doing the other framing method. So you see what I've tried to achieve now. So I'm going to adjust this text here.
Sorry, ma. How did you take out the field? I didn't really get it.
So this is what is there. So when you click on it, it's already having fill. So you just click on the minus. Just the minus.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I want to get the line height for this. So I think what we used was 20 something. So I'm just going to adjust it. This content here is actually looking too big. So it's practical class, no problem. So I'm just going to edit this now to have the same line height. So I'll just come to edit here. So what we use here is so just going to come here. This is large body text. So I'll just come to this place. Large body text. So I'm trying to get which of them I use. So I'm going to come to large body text and then edit it. So I'm just going to take this up. So I'm just going to place this 0 and then I'll start playing around with it. Okay. So this is okay. So now once we are done with this part, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place all of them in auto layout. So this is actually too much. So I'm just going to reduce it this way and push it back to the center. So I'm going to hold this together and then make it auto layout, and I'm going to make this auto layout again. And then once I make it auto layout, this is where I will now have to check it, move it to the side. But the first thing first is make sure it's at the center, and then the second one is at the center. And then I can now make the width to be the size of my frame, and then I'll push it to the right side. So in this aspect, I want to give it a background white color. So I'm just going to give it a fill color. So once I give it a fill color, automatically this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to take it up a little so that to just balance with this. So I'm just going to, so I'm just going to drag this a little to have its own spacing. So I think this is okay. I'm going to take it up a little. Now the last one we are going to design before the footer is the contact us. So how do you want the contact us to look like? So this is where I'm just going to, play around with. I don't want to make from beginning to the end in white, white, white. So you can choose to make it white, white, but I just want to, I just want to add like a color something. So I'm just going to take another rectangle for measurement and just do something like this. So this is where I'll have to play around with my black color. But if this black is too dark, then I'll have to, change to my blue. So I'm going to use this blue, but I'm going to make it a bit darker like this. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm just trying to create something like newsletter and all. So just going to drag it down a little bit here. Let's close this spacing here. Okay, this is okay. So just trying to do like maybe with an image. So I'm just going to duplicate and drag it out. So I'm going to look for an image. So let's look for customer customer care, customer, like this customer care, something to show you like contact. And oh, sorry. So I'll use this one with, okay. Let's use this. So I'm just going to copy the image, come back to Figma, and then paste it in this rectangle. Remember, I duplicated the rectangle already. So I'm just going to paste it here. So now I want her face to show enough. So I'm just going to come here and then crop the image. So I'm just going to push this here, and then I'll hold my shift, and then I'll drag for her face to show. So this is what I have. So remember, you cannot, if you try to stretch, to stretch. So if you want to increase it, you have to remove it to make it back to fill, or you just come here and hold this guy. So I'm going to shift this guy here a little bit. So I'll shift this guy here. Then you just come here and then drag it to the position you want. And then you close it. So I'm just going to place it here and then position it at the center. So I'm just going to take this and then take it to the top, align to the top. So the rectangle is going to come forward, the image is going to go backward. So this rectangle, I'm just going to make it to get to this point, and I'm going to reduce the opacity, and yeah, this is okay. So I'm just going to write the contact information. So you can try this pattern, or you can try the other way pattern. So I'm just going to, place some text. So this is where we don't have to stress ourselves. We just come here to, duplicate, and then, so once you come here, you automatically change the content to white. So we're going to change it to white. So this is going to be the center. So I'm just going to add ChatGPT for contact us. So I'm just going to cover up the space. I don't need it. I'm just going to click here, auto it, and then cover it. Then I'll come back here and get this my content here. And then cover this. Yeah. So I'm going to make this to be very, very big. So this is where I will now have to use that my 44 or 36. But yeah, I'm going to use 34, and yeah, I'm going to use, sorry. So yeah, I'm going to use 20. So this is okay, but let's see if we can make it this way. Okay, I think I prefer this one. This is okay. So now I'm going to place this at the center. So I'm just going to hold the both of them and then place it at the center. And then I'm going to scroll and scroll back up and then position it at the center. Now, once I position it at the center, I actually don't need this space because it's actually too much. So I'm just going to use my rectangle to get the way I want it. Now I'm going to add my button. So this is where I'm going to use my secondary button. So if you choose to make your secondary button to hover, you are free. If you don't want to make it to hover, you are still free to go. So yeah, I'm just going to use this button. Okay, let's see if we can make it interactive button. So I'm just going to use my interactive button. So where is it? So this is it. So I'm just going to drag it here to interactive button. So this is okay, but I'm going to make this to look more bigger and bolder. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to file. So this is going to be like contact us now. Contact us. Oh, okay. I just use contact us now. There's no, you're not forcing on. This now is like you are shouting for them. So let's just, okay, this should not be like fill out this thing. So I'm just going to change this to be like so you think this is better. So I think this is better. So let's just drag this and make it 2 line or 3 line, just like this. Okay. So we're going to drag this one to this point here. And then I'm going to hold this button and then make it auto layout. So now this space between them is too small. So I'm just going to, hold this and then come here, or you can come to this part to increase it. So the choice is yours. So just come to this place and then make it this way. So the space is too much between them. So I'm just going to make it like this. So I'm just going to go back to this my image and then come back here and then cover it to get to this point. Then I'm good to go. So remember, images, you're going to frame it first. So once you frame it, then you're going to hold these guys together and then make it auto layout. So once you make it auto layout, you're going to place it at the center. So this is how it will look like. So we are done with the contact us. So it's actually covering the face of this lady. So I'm just going to click in the image. Just going to look for the image here and see if I can get someone that is actually, the other side. So I think I'll have to use this one. So I'll go back to my design. I just want the face of the lady to show one side. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. But it seems this is actually better than that other one. At least you can see it. So just going to play around with the opacity for it to be visible. This is it. So we are done with the contact us, and then the last one we're going to design is going to be the footer, and then we'll come arrange it properly. So I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this logo here. So remember, I locked it. I'm just going to scroll up and then open it, and then duplicate the logo, take it out, and then lock it back. So I'm just going to lock it back, and then I'm going to drag this logo down. I want to create the footer. So I just want to create a very simple footer. So this is going to be here, and I'm going to just, pick this text here. So I'm just going to change it to be black so that I can see what I'm doing. So I think I will have to use this color, move it to the left, and then reduce it to 15. Then I will have to, close it. It's too long. So I'll close it. So I'm just going to bring this here and then write the name here like this. So I'm just going to copy this text and then make it black and then use 20 for it. Sorry, 20 ticker one. This is how it's going to be. So I'm just going to reduce this. It's too long, so I'm just going to reduce it. Drag this way. So I'm going to turn on my layout grid. So once I turn my layout grid, so I'm going to use it, so now the next thing I'm going to do is those other links. So here is just going to be, links and nothing serious. So I'm just going to duplicate this one here. So I'm just going to say this is going to look like, so this is already the thick one here. So this is going to be like home. So I'm just going to hold this way, and then I will duplicate it. So this is going to be like about us. Are you guys still with me?
We are still with you, man.
I'm actually not.
The knowledge is too much, but we'll manage.
Okay, so this is going to be our services. So the next one is going to be why choose us. So the next one is just going to be contact us, sorry. So this is going to be
It's just why choose there, not why choose us.
okay, sorry, thank you. So this is going to be resources or other pages, wherever this thing is. Okay, so this is what we have. I'm just going to close this. Yeah. So if you want to make it interactive, you are free. If you don't want to make it interactive, you are free. So for me, I'm not just going to make it interactive. I think I will just have to leave it this way. So if there are any other thing you want to add, you are free. So you can choose to duplicate, and then you can just so I'm just going to duplicate them. So I'm also going to duplicate this and going to ungroup this. So I'm just going to remove from auto layout. Just your I'm using MacBook, so I'm trying to know for Windows control. Your control and backspace for MacBook is command and delete. Then automatically it will just go out from auto layout. So I'm just going to delete these three, and this is going to be okay. Let's say our address. Let's say our office address. So I'm just going to use a random address. So I'm just going to push this thing in to see what I'm typing. I'm just writing a random address. This address is not real. So I'm just going to duplicate this and then make its phone number. So I'm just going to place this here and hold this to make it auto layout. So I'm just going to give them spacing between each other. So I'm going to hold these together, auto layout. I'm going to hold these auto layout. So I'm just going to hold the three of them and give them the same spacing. So I'm just going to hold this to here and then move this guy here. So there's no need of me having this, so I'm going to delete it. I think I'm okay with this information on the footer since it's just a simple footer. So I'm just going to increase this now to get to this point. And then I'll have to reduce this. So I'm just going to use my ruler. Like I want to use my ruler to know where it stops. So I'm just going to Shift R. So once you use Shift R, it's just going to come up. So I'll just drag my ruler this way. So anything I'm doing should be in between, should not cross this line, should just be in this on this line. So I think this is okay. This is okay. So yeah, I'm just going to reduce this one here like this. So yeah, I'm going to add the social media icons. So yeah, I'm going to add social media icons. So I'm just going to hold all of them and take it to the top. So I think no need of taking it to the top because it has already gotten to the point. So I think I'm good like this. So you can hold it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, automatically this is going out. So I'm just going to undo that and drag this inside first, and then hold these ones and then make it auto layout. So once I make it auto layout, this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to click on the arrow and delete it. So once I delete it, I'm just going to create line and just show that there are copy content and all. So I'm just going to drag this line here. So yes, I'm using my pen to do that. So once I'm done, I'll just click this here. So I'm going to use my lighter shade of gray. So I'm going to turn off this layout grid. So this is how it's going to look like. So once I'm done, I'm just going to, let me just duplicate this and put that copyright um, copyright. I'm just going to write a random copyright at simple. So I think all of them is together. Simple house outline 2024. I think I can't remember the rest. Okay. Design made by so I'm just going to copy this.
Agba design cook.
Guys, I'm serious. So I'm just going to remove this and just make it bold, semi-bold, and just make it black. So I just want that to stand out. So I think there is full stop here. So this is supposed to be in capital letter. So this is how it's going to look like. So I'm just going to hold these two together and then make it auto layout. So once I make this auto layout, I'm just going to hold these together and then make it auto layout. So I need these guys to be on its own like this. So this is okay. So I'm just going to hold this and just do the same normal way. So I'm just going to I like it to like get the same size and then position it to the left, put it at the center. So before that, I'll have to go back and then place this at the center. So this is going to be at the center. So I'm going to start from beginning and then make it center. This is already at the center. Then the next, followed by the next one. The next one is going to be at the center. This is actually going to be the center. Yeah, so because I'm going to just, I just want to create space only here. I don't want to create space here. So I'm just going to drag this like this and then give it a fill color white. So I'm going to add it here and then position it here. So once I'm done, I'm just going to start renaming all of them. Now this is the footer. So I'm just going to rename it footer. This is going to be contact us. So now the reason why I'm renaming it is because when I'm doing the interaction, I will know where and where I'm going to drag the arrow to. So this is going to be contact us. So the next one is going to be why choose us. This is going to be our services. This is going to be about us. ABOU us. So this is going to be the hero. Hero. So I already locked the header. So now it's time for me to arrange the design. So I think I've already arranged here. I think I'm seeing tiny line here. Yeah. So it's to cover it. So it's for me to cover it. So this is, and this is actually going to cover this. Yeah. So once I'm done, I'm just going to hold my frame and then cover the last space. So I'm just going to zoom out and then drag it to cover. Yeah. So I'm done with the landing page. Now let's take a look at what we've done so far. So this is what we've done so far. Now let's start from the beginning. So this is how it looked like, the hero section. This is how the about section looked like. This is the services. I so much love this interaction. Yeah. Then this is why choose this space here is too close. So this is schedule a consultation, and then this is the footer. So I think I'm just going to go back here and drag it a little down, and then I'm going to hold this and this. So I'm just going to hold this and this and bring it down here. So I'm just going to create space between them. So I'm just going to create the space between them. I'm just going to align horizontally. Okay. So the space here is 62. So I'm just going to drag this down. I'm trying to just create, nice spacing between them. I'm going to hold this, and this, and I'm going to, duplicate vertically. I think this is okay. So I'm just going to go there and cover up this tiny space here. So you can see the tiny space here. So once we are done, the next thing now to do is the prototype. Now we want to do our prototype. All our interaction are actually working. You need to be very sure that your interaction are actually working. So you can see that this is actually working. This is working. But I think we forgot something. We forgot to indicate users that there are other things coming from here, but no need. We've already gone far. So I think this is okay. So now let's work with this prototype on this particular screen. Now let's go to prototype now. So I'm going to, first thing first is I'm going to unlock my header. So I'm going to close all this. You can see that I have renamed all of them. So I'm going to, unlock this. So I'm going to go to my prototype. Now on my prototype, I'm going to choose about us. So when I click on about us, I want it to move to this section here. That is why we had to put it. Now, if you scroll, it will scroll to about us. So it's showing me, it's still showing me frame 30. No, it's supposed to show me about us. So I will have to look for what is showing me from 30. Okay, I've seen the error. So I'll have to do that again. So let me do this again. So you see the reason why I need to rename all of them. So I need to rename it so I will know where it's linking, taking me to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on about us. About us should take me to about frame here. So the setting is going to come up. So it takes me to, like when I click on it, it should take me to about us. So what am I going to do? I want it to, have this bouncing feelings. So I'm just going to make it animate and then move it to bounce. So I just want it to, bounce. So once you're doing the prototype, you're going to be testing it. So I'm going to scroll to the top. So I'm going to click on About Us. So it's having this quick bounce settings. So I'll have to, make it 400. Let's make it 400 ms. Ms means milliseconds. So I'm going to go back and then, move it back and see so fast. So I have to make it so what I have to do is I have to make the number to be very, very high. So I'll have to use 1005 milliseconds. So that's what I will do. I think Figma is the higher the number, the slower the interaction. So let's see. Okay, let me go back and then. Okay, I think I'll have to take it out from bounce and then use another one. So let's see if we can use gentle or slow, but definitely not bounce. Bounce is giving this as if we are trying to play ball. So I think this is better. So slow is better. So slow is giving me 600. So I think I'll just have to use 400 milliseconds. So let's try again. Okay, I think this is okay. Now let's move to our service. So when I click on services, where it should it take me to? It should take me to our services here. So you make sure that it's showing me destination here. And one thing I love about Figma prototyping is it will just automatically carry your previous settings for your prototype. That's one thing I love about this. So now let's try our service. Now let's go back and do why choose us. So let's go back to why choose us. So we've gotten the interaction setting we want. So there's no need of change. So what we just do is just to drag and make sure it's actually at the right part. So we're going to click on. So I'm going to click on show prototype to show me everything. So the next one is going to be contact us. Yeah, it's showing me rectangle. It's supposed to take me back to contact us. Yes. So now I don't want to start scrolling up. I just want to drop an icon here. Once I click on it, automatically it takes me to the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish up my settings and then go back to a pattern. So you can choose to add your home, but me, I don't want to add my home. I just want it to, take me to that part. But I'm just going to give the interaction to home here. So I'm just going to click on it to take me to the hero section here. So in this aspect, I'm just going to change the settings. So let's see, for example, I've scrolled to here. So how is it going to look like? Okay, I will have to use bounce here. So I'll have to use bounce because I just want it to take me straight to the home page, like that kind of bouncing interaction. Okay, the bouncing is too much, it's too fast. So I'm going to use 1005 milliseconds. Okay, I think I'll have to use so I want to scroll here. So I want to change the settings. So I have to use let's try gently. Gentle, sorry. Why am I even saying gently? So let's try gentle. Okay, so this is what I want. So now I'll go back to my design. I want to create this I want to create an icon here that will just take me straight. Once I just click on it, it just take me straight. I don't know what developers call it, but it's always here. Let me see if this site is going to open. Okay, the site is all not opening. Maybe they took it down. So I'm going to create it. So this is where I'll have to go back to my font and look for arrow. Sorry, my icon and look for arrow. So let's look for arrows. Okay, this is what I need. So I'm just going to paste it here. So once I paste it here, I'm just going to do it auto layout. Sorry, do that. So I'm just going to use rectangle. Paste it here. So I'm just going to, I just want to create it. So I'm just going to quickly create it with rectangle and then make it auto layout and then add the color blue. So I'm just going to align to the center and then make it auto layout like this. And I'm going to give it corner radius of 10. So I'm just going to change the color. So this is going to be blue and this is going to be white like this. So let's use this shade of blue and let's use the normal standard white color. So I'm just going to, drag it and keep it. Now what I'm trying to drag is trying to show me that I have to, put it. But now this is one thing about auto layout. Now you can see this right up showing ignore auto layout. So I'm just going to hold my control and then ignore auto layout and it's just going to be there for me. But if you don't ignore it, it will just mess up your whole settings for you. So I'm just going to click on it and then use my arrow key to adjust it the way I want it to look like. So I just want it to be here. So I'm going to go back to my prototype.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Please, how are you able to ignore auto layout?
control. Control. Just hold your control key. It will come and it will just show you here control ignore. Then just click on control on your system, on your keyboard. It will
Okay,
just,
okay, thank you.
yeah. So this is going to take me back to the header. So this should be like screen and it's just scroll up. So now let's try the whole thing that we've done and see. So you can see that everything is just interacting. I did not do any multiple screens. So I forgot to show you guys one. So you can see that this is actually still there. So imagine a developer say, what am I using say? Imagine a developer will tell you, oh, you need to make it interactive. Oh, I don't understand how this thing will work. You don't even need, there's no need. The developer will just say, okay, make it interactive. Let me see how it's going to interact when I'm coding it. You don't even need to stress yourself. You just, when you're doing the design, you just do the interaction at once. And once you are done, you just share the prototype link to the developer. And the developer will just interact with it and will be like, oh, okay, this is awesome. Someone who doesn't know their job, when they see one screen, they'll be surprised. Why is it one screen? You not doing interaction, but don't knowing that you've already done the interaction while you're doing the prototyping. So you can see how it is. So if I scroll here, I click here, it takes into this. So this is going to hover. This is actually going to hover. And oh, so guys, I believe with the whole thing I have done, it doesn't look like magic to you guys. So we'll have to end our class here, and I'm going to share the Figma link to you guys.
Please do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll share the Figma link to you guys, but you don't have access to edit, just only access to view.
No problems, ma.
Okay, so I love giving assignments. I don't know if they do give you guys assignments. So I love giving assignments to practice what have been taught or done in class. So this is me giving you guys an assignment for the weekend. No flexing, no enjoyment, just you and your laptop.
Attendance, ma.
Okay, so I saw a question. Somebody saying something. Okay. Oh, okay. Can we add customer reviews? Yes, you can. So do you guys have questions? These one people don't want to ask questions. Does it look like magic?
It's not like it look like magic, but
So,
you are taking time to assimilate it. It actually looks like magic, Sha.
It looks like magic. You can't lie.
Okay, this is not magic. Trust me, this is not magic. So it's very simple. It's very simple, very, very simple. With time, you will just learn it. Like, this is me telling you guys, I learned more of interaction this year. I've been into UI UX since 2021. You get, I learned a lot from Buma. She's more like my mentor. She taught me to, it's just like we are friends and we teach each other. So after she left me, in fact, she broke my heart and she left me and she went to Lagos. So I've been learning alone, learning alone and all. So I was not learning interaction. Like prototype is like the biggest work you will give to me that will make me to hate you. But when I started seeing, people posting their work online, doing small interaction, I fell in love with UI UX. That was when I even had to, this is where both of us is actually going to be lovers for life. I started learning interaction. So I started learning interaction this year. Imagine someone who hasn't been into the industry for a very period of time. I know how to design. I can design from my head. I can do everything from my head. You get, I can just look at this person's design and go and recreate it and even, uh, tweak the designs. You will not even know. But when it comes to prototype and interaction, we are enemies. You get, but I fell in love with interaction this year, and trust me, with time, you just see yourself start doing it. There are a lot of things I'm trying to, adjust back to newbie. That's why I said if you see me using shortcut, draw my attention. If you see me doing something without explaining, draw my attention. You get, with time, you just get to know your way around Figma. It's not be hard for you. Just give it time. But giving it time means it doesn't mean that after this whole training of it, you will just dump your laptop. No, you will not grab it. But consistency and determination, you just see yourself flying, flying and swimming in Figma. It's not be very hard again for you. And make YouTube and ChatGPT, Google your friends. They will help you a lot. So I think the attendance link have been dropped. So you write your name. The Figma link has been shared to you guys. You have access to view on the Figma link, but you cannot edit on the Figma link. So you have access to copy, you have access to do whatever you want to do, but you can't edit on the Figma file. So yeah. So I'm going to give you guys an assignment for the weekend. It's going to be a very simple assignment. So you're going to replicate what is being taught in class. I won't say do the mobile view, no. Just replicate what is being taught in class and let me see the magic that you will craft. So if you don't want to use the same content and the same image, you are free to change. But if you don't want to use the same logo, the same color, you are free to change. But just try and replicate what is being taught in class, your style guide and your landing page. Just do something. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, I actually paid attention in class. I actually learned this. I actually learned that. And anything you cannot, replicate or you cannot do, just go to YouTube and then search for that particular thing. Definitely, you will see video and then watch and follow how it is being done. Then you do your own. If you want to add, you are free. If you want to add other interactions, you are free. But just replicate what is being taught in class yesterday and today. Okay.
Okay, ma. Ma, another question.
Okay, wisdom.
Like
Okay.
like this interaction, only this landing page is that much.
Is it your focus now? Like, is it
And
actually
you follow for the motivation.
Na
no?
money dey
this is
o.
very important.
See, I will. This is what I will give you guys. I will say, I don't know if some people already have experience before, but this is what I normally tell my own student and my mentee. I will tell them, for now, take your mind out from the money. You get? I know, yes, it's going to pay you. It's going to pay you a lot. The reward is there, but for now, take your mind out from the money. Take your mind out from the money. Learn it. Even in your sleep, you can do it. Now you can see that I did not look at anywhere to draft out this beautiful landing page, even if it's not as beautiful as I think it's going to, as I want it to look like, but it's something. Take your mind out from money first. Focus on doing the job excellently first, because no clients will want to give someone who doesn't know how to design his job to mess up. No client want to pay 2 times for a job. You get. So take your mind out from money for now first. You get. Perfect your skills before you can now start charging clients whatever money you want to charge clients. Okay. So I will not give you a fixed price for the landing page. Every project has its own pricing, be it fintech, be it e-commerce, be it agrotech, edutech. Every price has its own project, depending the weight of the project, depending the price of the project. So no, I don't know, but me, I don't charge design and my clients per screens. I charge you based on the knowledge or the idea of your project.
Okay, we'll manage this one.
I will not tell you the amount, but for me, I will advise you. I'm always telling newbies, don't make the mistake I made. I placed my mind on money first before grabbing the skills. I was just in make I learn and find. I will be clients. I will charge you, but that was the terrible mistake I made 2021. I think that mistake was correct in 2022, and I'm living in the reward now. But if you see gig and dollar, please call my name there for me.
Obviously, the design cook.
Okay, see you guys by Monday, right?
No,